Hello everyone, welcome back to another lesson. Today we're going to be going through an advanced modelling demonstration of the style tool by creating a helmet. To help us out with this demonstration, I've created a mannequin of a head around which we're going to be modelling our helmet. And to get started, I'll be showing you how we can use an assembly to create a part. This head mannequin is a part of the downloadable resources available to you as a part of this course, and you'll be using it in turn when you follow along this lesson yourselves. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to create a new assembly, and let's just call this helmet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and choose millimeters, kilograms and seconds. Alright, let's full screen that. And I'm going to assemble the mannequin from my working directory. I'm going to right click and set the default constraint. Okay. As you see, we have our mannequin within our workspace of this assembly. I'm now going to go to the Create button here in the Component section of the toolbar. Create. This floating tab appears. I'm going to name this part Helmet and press OK. And I'm going to click on the Create Features button at the bottom of these four and press OK. And what you'll see here is that we've entered a new workspace. We have the traditional toolbar associated with creating a new part. We'll see that in the model tree, we have a grayed out section which is showing us the assembly, which is currently deactivated, and then the new part we're creating, which has this green button here. And then underneath that, we have the active part we're currently creating, helmet, with this little green icon here, which is indicating to us that this part is active. Because we've created this part from the assembly, we see grayed out, we have the original part of the assembly, the mannequin, and that is there to help us as a reference while we are creating this new part. Okay. So to help us create this helmet by using the style tool, I have a JPEG of a helmet profile as a part of this course. We need to import that image to a plane and use it as a reference to sketch the profile of this helmet. But at the moment, we actually do not have any active planes available to us within this helmet part. We only have the grayed out, unavailable datum planes and coordinate system from the original assembly here. So we need to create a new set of datum planes for this part. And to do that, we're simply going to quickly go into the plane tool here, and we're going to use the assembly reference planes. So just click that. Okay. New plane. There. Okay. And one more. Okay. And now you'll see that within our helmet part here, we now have our three planes available to us. We could rename them as we wish, however, it's not entirely necessary. Alright, so now that we have our planes, we can import our image. So to do this, I'm going to go over to the View tab in the toolbar. I'm going to go to the Model Display section in the drop-down menu here. And we have this option here called Images. Press that, and we enter the Images tool. Click on the Import button here. And we now need to select a datum plane or a planar surface to place the image. So for example, if we had a flat surface, we could click on that surface and the image would be coincidented to that surface. However, for this instance, I'm just going to choose this plane here. And I'm going to go to the working directory, and I have an image here which is now available to us. Open that, and you see that this image is dropped onto that surface. Holding shift, I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. You see how it snaps. And now I can move and click and resize this. If I just snap to right, so I'm looking directly on this profile, I'm going to move and resize this helmet around my mannequin until I am happy with the size and shape. Maybe just slightly smaller. Okay, I'm happy with that. Press OK. And now we can continue modeling as normal, but now we have this image imported to our workspace and fixed to the position that we determined while we were placing the image. So let's change this view back to standard orientation, and I'm going to go back to the model tab, and now we can start sketching out the profile of this helmet. So let's go into the style tool. We can see that our active plane is the right plane here. I'm going to change to the right view. And I'm going to start by drawing our first curves. Let's start from this point, and I'm just going to follow the outside of the profile of this helmet. Until we reach this natural feature here, in which case I'm going to stop. I'm going to press the middle mouse button to get out of that curve. Press OK, and now we're going to create a new curve. Let's hold down the Shift key, and I'm going to snap the start of this new curve to the end of our old one. And I'm just going to continue following the outskirts of our helmet profile. Okay, middle mouse button again. I'm going to hold down Shift, snap the new start point of this new curve to the end point of the old one. There we go, and just continue. And hold on Shift again, and we've snapped. Okay, so as you can see very quickly, we have the outskirt perimeter of our helmet sketched within our style tool. I am now going to create a couple more curves. Let's go back and snap this again to this corner. Hold down the Shift key, click, and I'm going to follow, in general, this profile along and then connect it to this point here. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift button again on my keyboard and click. Let's say it's click about there. Okay, middle mouse button to get out of that line. And now I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to do this around this point here. So holding down the Shift key to snap to the line. Okay, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. As you can see, as I start to rotate around my workspace, because this is our active plane here, those lines are snapped to that plane, that planar surface. Okay. But these two lines we've created here, these two curves, are going to form this side of the helmet's shape around the mannequin. So what I'm going to do now is, let's go to top view. Hang on, I'm going to select this line here, this curve. Now I'm going to go to top view, not right view, top view please. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to curve edit, and we can see the 4 points that have made up this curve. The end point there, the two middle points, and the end point there. I'm just going to make sure actually that that end point is absolutely snapped to the end. Hold down shift. Yeah, there we go. With the cross, the circle means that it's just on this line and not fixed to any particular point. So there we go, that's fine. Right, let's go back to top. And I'm just going to, holding down this point here, as you can see, I'm going to drag that out. And same with this point, just drag that out. There. Okay. And let's now change to front view. Okay, and I'm just going to again start repositioning these points to get a general trajectory of the outside of our helmet. I'm going to click both of our outer points here, and with our drag handle, that determines the trajectory of the line, the curve coming out of this point. I'm going to right click that, choose normal, and set that normal to this plane. And you can see now, if I go back to front, that that is snapped entirely normal to that plane. Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same for this end point here, normal to that plane. Okay. Let's go back to the top view, and we're just going to keep doing this until we are happy with this curve. We can always go back and re-alter. Okay, let's go back for that for now. Let's curve edit this second curve. Select it and curve edit. I'm going to go back to the top view, and let's drag these out. Okay, back to front view. Let's lift these up a bit. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing with the endpoint. We are making these normal to the right plane, normal. Select, choose the next point, right click on the drag handle, normal to that plane. Okay. I think for the moment I'm happy. Yes, I would say I'm happy with that. Okay. And now actually we need to include one more line or curve to this helmet profile. So let's go back into the edit definition of this style. We're going to add a new curve. Let's move to the right orientation again. And I'm going to hold down shift, connect to this point. 1, 2, and connect to this point. Okay. And now let's go back to top view, edit that curve, and we're going to move this out, the two internal points. Let's change that to front view. Okay. Yeah, that seems about right to me. Okay, let's click on this endpoint, And let's normal that drag handle. Okay, and same with the other. Normal, normal. And let's just rotate our workspace and let's have a look there. Okay, am I happy with that? Again, I can go and re-edit these points at a later time, but for now I think I'm okay. Right. Okay, I'm now actually going to change my active plane to the front plane here. I'm going to orientate my view to front. And what I'm going to do is create a new curve. I'm going to click here, then hold down my shift key, connect to this point here, and again, so that we have this point connecting through all. Press OK, edit the curve, and now I can move this around. Now hold down the shift key and connect. Here we go. All right, let's right click this drag handle and set that to normal to this plane. Okay, let's go back to the front view. And I think for the moment, I'm happy with that. Okay, let's press OK. So we now have some curves from our style tool creating a network of curves that create the profile of one side of this helmet. And for now, what I want to do is to start to surface these curves. So to start surfacing, let's go into the surface tool, select that, and we now need to choose the boundaries of these surfaces by choosing some of these curves. Okay, so let's start with this one here. I'm going to click on this curve here, and what I'm going to do is we have these drag handles at either end of this curve. Creo wants us to define where we want the start and end of this surface to be in relation to this curve. We can drag that anywhere we want, but what I want to do is trim at this curve here and this curve here. There's two ways we can do this. We can, while we're dragging, hold down the shift key, and you see how the button changes from a dot to this broken square here. Holding down the shift key, if we move along and we reach this cross section between this curve and the other curve, it snaps and the square solidifies and turns a green color. We can then let go, and we now have this start of this surface on this curve at this point here. Or the second way to do this is we right click the drag handle, click trim at, and now I can choose any curve I like. I'm going to choose this one, and automatically that start point, or in this case end point, snaps to this curve here. Now, choosing the next chain, I can hold down the control key and choose this curve here. And same again, yes, we do want the start point here, but I'm going to right click trim at this end, and again choose this curve. And now I'm going to hold down the control key and choose this curve here. The surface has already been created, but I want to again right click this endpoint here, trim at, and trim at this curve here. And we have a surface automatically now created that is using these curves here, these sections of these curves, as the boundaries. Now, before I accept this surface, notice on this particular edge here, we have this dotted line in this circle. This is our opportunity to define the relationship between this surface and the opposing surface when eventually we do mirror this entire profile here. To do this, I'm just going to right click on one of these lines, and we see we have these three options: position, normal, and draft. For this particular option, we just want to have normal, and we see now that this surface for this particular curve is normal the entire trajectory of that curve. Don't worry about these yet, because we'll be coming to them as we surface further sections of this helmet profile. So finally, let's press OK, and now we're going to create the next surface. And as you sort of understand how we're going to be doing this, we're going to whiz through these. So let's choose this curve first, right click, trim at. Holding down the control key, I'll choose this curve here, right click, trim at this curve there. Yes, we want that section. Control key for the next boundary. And again, the surface is created, but we want to right click, trim at here. Okay, our surface is created, and again, I want to go to this particular surface blend and right click the dotted line and change that to normal. Okay, and we can see that the arrow is pointing in the direction that this surface is normal to. Okay, let's create our next surface. Okay, let's set that to normal again. Wonderful stuff. And we just have 3 more sections to do, so I'm just going to whiz through these. Right click, trim at, control key, trim at, and trim at. Hopefully you're starting to get the process of what I'm doing here. Okay, right click, trim at. Great, and finally here. Trim at. Alright, and I'm going to set this here to normal as well. Great. Okay. Now, 2 more surfaces. Great, and last one. Okay, we can now see the form of our helmet from the profile we sketched within the style tool. It's really starting to take shape. Wonderful stuff. Now, one of the things I now want to make sure we have done is that our surfaces are connecting to each other properly. So they are following the same curvature throughout. And if we look, we can kind of see some bulges between some of these surfaces and not some of the others. So I'm going to go into the Surface Connect tool here in the toolbar. And let's just start with these two surfaces here. Select that one and holding Control, select this one. And we can see that we have normal and normal, but we don't actually have any defined connections between these surfaces. And you can tell that by the default ... circle ... Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose G2 curvature. And we will see that these surfaces now connect and they follow the same curvature as the other. Let's add in these surfaces here and let's have a look at all the different constraints we can see. Good, 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 bad, bad. So let's change this. Well, actually, we don't want to change this because we want to have this defined cut, this sharp-edged feature within our helmet, but we do want to blend this side together. So let's right-click that and let's choose curvature, and that fixes itself there. That's lovely. But yes, as you see, we do want to keep this feature here, so we do not want to have this surface following the curvature into this one. In fact, doing it probably won't even work. So I'm now happy with that. Let's just add in these last surfaces to make sure we are happy. And yes, wonderful stuff. Okay, let's press OK. Now let's press OK. And we see that we have a finished style for our one half of our helmet. Okay, next I want to chop out this feature here. Okay, so we now have our half profile of this helmet. We want to cut out this section here. First of all, I'm actually just going to mirror our style around this plane. Okay, and that creates the full feature of our helmets. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? Okay, and what I'm going to do now is hide this style. I'm going to sketch on this plane. Okay, use this and this as a reference, solve and close, and I'm going to change to the left orientation. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to use the spline tool to very quickly just sketch this feature of the mask. Okay, we have that line. I'm happy with that. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to extrude that symmetrically as a surface. Okay, let's make this visible again. All right, and now I'm going to select this surface here. I'm going to choose the trim tool, and I'm going to go into the references tab of the toolbar, and I'm going to choose this extruded surface as our trimming object. Okay, okay, and we see we've now carved out that section. And let's just do that again. Let's select this surface here, trim, define the trimming object. Okay, now let's hide this extrude, and let's merge these two. And we have our finished helmet profile. I can go back into the View tab, Models Display, Images, and now I can hide that image. And we have a finished helmet profile based around importing an image and designing our part around a referenced assembly. Okay, thank you for watching everyone. I hope this has been a good demonstration to you of some more advanced techniques when using the Style tool. It's your turn now to give this a try. Make sure to download the available resources and good luck.